What if I told you that the single most common piece of advice given to anyone trying to lose fat is not just slightly misguided, but a deliberate, multi-billion-dollar lie that is actively sabotaging your results? Right now, as you watch this, you've been told relentlessly by fitness influencers, supplement companies, and even well-meaning health professionals that the key to unlocking your dream physique is simple: eat more protein. Load up on it. Shake it, bake it, choke it down, because protein is the king, the undisputed champion of nutrients for fat loss. But here is the shocking, inconvenient truth that the entire fitness industry doesn't want you to understand. For the vast majority of people, this obsessive focus on massive, daily protein intake is not only completely unnecessary for building a lean, strong body, but it is likely the very thing that is keeping you stuck in a cycle of frustration, preventing you from seeing the abs you work so hard for, and even adding stubborn fat to your frame. You heard that right. The very nutrient you've been taught to worship might be making you fatter. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a critical misunderstanding of human biochemistry, fueled by profit and perpetuated by misinformation. Today, we are going to dismantle this big protein lie, piece by piece, using science, data, and a dose of common sense that will change the way you look at your plate forever. The first pillar of this lie is the grotesquely inflated recommendation for how much protein you actually need. You've probably heard numbers like 1 gram per pound of body weight, or even more. If you're a 180-pound man, that's 180 grams of protein every single day. That's the equivalent of over 1.5 pounds of chicken breast or 7 scoops of whey protein. It's an immense amount of food. But let's look at the actual rigorous scientific research. The most robust, widely accepted data from institutions like the World Health Organization and numerous sports nutrition meta-analyses point to a requirement far lower for even hard-training individuals. The evidence consistently shows that the maximum effective intake for muscle protein synthesis, the process of building new muscle, sits at around 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass, not total body weight. For that same 180-pound man with 20% body fat, his lean mass is 144 pounds. That puts his optimal protein intake at roughly 100 to 115 grams per day. That's nearly half of what the mainstream advice dictates. So, where did this 1 gram per pound rule come from? It's largely an oversimplification that originated from bodybuilding culture, where the mantra was more is better, and it was conveniently adopted by the supplement industry because selling protein powder is astronomically profitable. When you consume protein far beyond what your body can use for repair and growth, it doesn't just magically turn into more muscle. Your body is a highly efficient, survival-oriented machine. It has to do something with that excess energy. And here's the critical pivot point that is almost never discussed. Through a process called gluconeogenesis, your body can and will convert the excess amino acids from that protein into glucose, sugar. This glucose then enters your bloodstream, raising your insulin levels. And what is the primary hormonal driver of fat storage? Insulin. So, by chronically overconsuming protein, you are creating a constant, low-grade stream of sugar into your system, triggering insulin release and effectively shutting down your body's ability to burn its own stored fat for fuel. You are, in a very real metabolic sense, eating sugar when you eat that third chicken breast you didn't need. This is the foundational deception. You've been led to believe that protein is a free nutrient, that you can eat it in unlimited quantities without consequence. But the laws of thermodynamics and biochemistry don't lie. A calorie is a unit of energy, and protein contains 4 calories per gram. If you eat 100 extra grams of protein you don't need, that's 400 calories that your body must deal with. And the most likely destination for those calories, in a state of energy surplus, is your fat stores. Now, let's tackle the second part of this protein deception, which is the dangerous and widespread confusion between protein sufficiency and protein excess. The fitness industry has successfully conflated these two entirely different states, making you believe that if you're not in excess, you must be deficient. This is a false dichotomy designed to create fear and drive consumption. Being protein sufficient means providing your body with the precise, optimal amount of amino acids it requires to perform its essential functions, repairing damaged tissues, synthesizing new muscle proteins, producing enzymes and hormones, and supporting your immune system. It's like putting the exact amount of fuel in your car's tank for a long journey. You'll perform perfectly. Protein excess, on the other hand, is like overfilling that tank until gasoline is sloshing out onto the ground, and then being surprised when your car catches fire. The negative consequences of this chronic overconsumption are vast and rarely discussed. First and foremost is the immense metabolic burden placed on your organs, particularly your kidneys and liver. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering the waste products from protein metabolism, primarily urea and ammonia. When you consume a moderate amount of protein, your kidneys handle this task with ease. But when you force them to process a constant, overwhelming flood of amino acids day after day, year after year, you are placing them under significant, chronic stress. While the common refrain is that high protein isn't harmful to those with healthy kidneys, this is a short-sighted view. We should be asking what constitutes a healthy practice for long-term organ vitality, not just what avoids immediate, diagnosed disease. You are essentially running your body's filtration system at maximum capacity, non-stop. Secondly, let's talk about digestive health and the gut microbiome. The modern high-protein diet almost always comes at the expense of other crucial macronutrients, most notably dietary fiber from carbohydrates like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Fiber is the primary food for the trillions of beneficial bacteria that reside in your gut. This microbiome is not a passive passenger, it's an active organ system that regulates your metabolism, controls inflammation, produces key vitamins, and even influences your mood and hunger signals through the gut-brain axis. When you starve these bacteria by neglecting fiber, rich carbs in favor of yet another protein shake, you cause a die-off of good bacteria and allow pathogenic, inflammatory bacteria to thrive. This can lead to a condition known as leaky gut, where the intestinal lining becomes permeable, allowing undigested food particles and toxins to enter your bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation. And what is a key driver of stubborn fat storage, insulin resistance, and poor recovery? Chronic systemic inflammation. So, in your quest for more muscle, you might be inflaming your entire body and making it harder to lose fat. Furthermore, this high-protein, low-fiber diet is a primary culprit behind the digestive issues so many gym goers complain about. Bloating, gas, constipation, and discomfort. Your body is struggling to process a nutrient load it was never designed to handle in such isolation and quantity. The final point here is the opportunity cost. Every calorie you consume as excess protein is a calorie you are not consuming from another vital source. You are missing out on the phytonutrients, antioxidants, and vitamins from colorful fruits and vegetables that combat the oxidative stress of your workouts. You are missing out on the stable, long-lasting energy from complex carbohydrates that fuel your high-intensity training sessions. By focusing myopically on protein, you are creating a nutritionally imbalanced body that may be structurally built, but is functionally deficient, inflamed, and struggling to perform at its peak, both inside and outside the gym. So if the more protein mantra is a lie, what is the actual secret to unlocking sustainable fat loss and building a quality physique? The answer lies in shifting your focus from a single, overhyped macronutrient to the master hormone that controls your body's fat burning and fat storage switches, insulin. I mentioned it briefly before, but now we need to dive deep because this is the most important physiological concept you will learn today. Insulin is a hormone secreted by your pancreas in response to eating, particularly in response to rising blood sugar. Its primary job is to shuttle nutrients from your bloodstream into your cells. When you eat a meal, insulin rises to tell your muscle and liver cells to take in glucose for energy, and it tells your fat cells to stop releasing fat and start storing it. This is a normal, healthy process. The problem in our modern world is that most people live in a state of chronically elevated insulin. They are eating frequently, every 2-3 hours, and often consuming meals high in both refined carbohydrates and, as we now know, excess protein that gets converted to glucose. This means their insulin levels never have a chance to fall back to a true baseline. When insulin is constantly high, your body is locked in fat storage mode. The hormone-sensitive lipase enzyme, which is responsible for breaking down stored fat to be used as energy, is suppressed. Your body literally cannot access its own fat stores for fuel. It's like trying to get money out of a bank vault while the lock button is permanently engaged. This is the true sabotage. You can be in a calorie deficit, working out intensely, but if your insulin levels are perpetually elevated, your body will prioritize burning the sugar in your blood and the glycogen in your liver and muscles. It will resist dipping into your fat stores at all costs. You'll feel tired, hungry, and your fat loss will stall, leading to the common complaint of, "I'm eating less and exercising more, but not losing weight." The solution, therefore, is not to eat more protein, but to create periods of low insulin throughout your day and week. This is where the powerful strategies of time, restricted eating, or intermittent fasting come into play. By condensing your eating window, for example, eating all your meals within an 8-hour period and fasting for 16 hours, you allow your insulin levels to drop significantly and stay low for an extended duration. In this low insulin state, your HSL enzyme is activated, your fat cells are unlocked, and your body can finally tap into your adipose tissue for fuel. This is not a theory, it's a well-established metabolic pathway. Furthermore, when you are not constantly spiking your insulin, your body becomes more sensitive to it. Insulin sensitivity is the holy grail of metabolic health. It means your cells respond efficiently to a smaller amount of insulin, which is a far healthier state than being insulin resistant, where your pancreas has to pump out more and more insulin to achieve the same effect, leading to fat gain and eventually type 2 diabetes. By focusing on meal timing and insulin management, you address the root cause of fat storage dysregulation. You train your body to be a flexible fuel burner, effortlessly switching between using food energy and stored body fat. This is a state of metabolic flexibility, and it is the true key to achieving a lean, energized, and resilient body, far more so than obsessing over your 10th gram of protein for the day. Now that we've established insulin as the key regulator, let's build the complete, practical framework for what you should be doing instead of blindly following the high-protein hype. This is an evidence-based, holistic approach to nutrition that prioritizes metabolic health, which is the true foundation upon which leanness is built. The first step is to determine your actual, honest protein needs. As we discussed, aim for that sweet spot of 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass. For most active men and women, this will land somewhere between 90 and 130 grams per day, a far cry from the 200 plus grams often pushed. Distribute this protein across 2, or at most 3, solid meals per day within a condensed eating window. This practice of eating larger, more satiating meals less frequently is far more effective for both hormonal control and sustainability than the old bodybuilding dogma of 6 to 8 small meals a day, which only serves to keep your insulin perpetually elevated. The quality of your protein source is also paramount. Instead of relying on processed powders and bars, prioritize whole food sources like pasture-raised eggs, grass-fed beef and lamb, wild-caught fish, and organic poultry. These sources not only provide a complete amino acid profile, but also come packaged with a host of co-factors like healthy fats, including anti-inflammatory omega-3s, vitamins like B12 and K2, and minerals like zinc and iron that are essential for optimal metabolic function. The second, and perhaps most critical, component of this new framework is to rehabilitate the role of carbohydrates in your diet. For decades, carbs have been demonized in the same way protein has been deified, and this has been a catastrophic mistake for the metabolic health of the fitness community. Carbohydrates are not the enemy, refined high glycemic fiber, less carbohydrates are the enemy. Your body desperately needs the right kind of carbs to function. They are the preferred fuel for your brain and your high-intensity workouts. The goal is to time your intake of nutrient-dense, Fibrous carbohydrates around your period of physical activity. Think of sweet potatoes, squash berries, and other low glycemic fruits, and a wide array of colorful vegetables. Consuming these carbs in your post-workout meal, when your muscles are primed to suck up glucose to replenish glycogen stores without spiking insulin dramatically, is a highly effective strategy. For your other meals, especially if you are sedentary, focusing on non-starchy vegetables and healthy fats will keep your insulin low and stable. Speaking of fats, they are the third crucial piece of this puzzle. Healthy dietary fats from sources like avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish are essential for hormone production, including testosterone and other anabolic hormones. They also provide a slow, burning, satiating source of energy that has a minimal impact on insulin. A diet that strategically cycles between fats and carbs, rather than one that tries to eliminate either, creates the most robust and flexible metabolism. Finally, we must address the elephant in the room: total calories. While hormones dictate where your body stores fat and when it can access it, the fundamental law of energy balance still applies. You cannot lose body fat if you are in a consistent energy surplus. The beautiful side effect of this protein-sufficient, whole foods, time-restricted approach is that it naturally regulates your calorie intake. By eating satisfying meals rich in fiber, healthy fats, and adequate protein, your hunger and cravings diminish. You avoid the blood sugar roller coaster that drives impulsive snacking and overeating. You achieve a calorie deficit not through willpower and deprivation, but through metabolic harmony and genuine satiety. This is a sustainable, long-term strategy, not a quick fix. Let's bring this all together and paint a clear picture of what a day of eating for optimal fat loss and metabolic health looks like, contrasting it directly with the old, flawed high-protein model. Imagine it's 7 a.m. Under the old paradigm, you'd be forcing down a breakfast of egg whites and oatmeal or a protein shake because you've been told you must break the fast and feed your muscles. But now, you understand that extending your overnight fast is a powerful tool. So, you simply have black coffee or tea, and you feel energized and clear-headed because your body is efficiently running on the fat it has already stored. You're not hungry because your insulin is low, allowing your body easy access to its own fuel reserves. You go about your morning, and perhaps you even train in this fasted state, further enhancing your fat-burning capacity. At noon, you break your fast with your first meal. Let's say you're a 170-pound person with a lean mass of 140 pounds. Your protein target for the day is around 100-110 grams. For this meal, you have a large, satisfying salad with a whole 6-ounce grilled chicken breast, about 50 Gs of protein, a massive bed of leafy greens, cucumbers, peppers, half an avocado for healthy fats, and a generous drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. This meal is nutrient-dense, high in fiber, and will keep you full for hours. Your insulin will experience a moderate, healthy rise from the vegetables and the small amount of glucose from the protein, but it will not spike dramatically. You then have your second and final meal around 6 p.m. This is your larger post-workout meal. Let's say you trained at 4 p.m. This meal is designed to replenish glycogen stores and provide building blocks for repair. You have an 8-ounce portion of grass-fed sirloin steak, about 60 G of protein, a large serving of roasted sweet potatoes and broccoli, and perhaps a side of sauerkraut for probiotic support. You've now hit your protein target with 2 satisfying, real food meals. You've consumed a wealth of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and healthy fats. Your total calorie intake is naturally appropriate for your goals. Most importantly, you will now enter a 16-18-hour fasting window where your insulin will drop to a low baseline, and your body will be free to mobilize and burn stored body fat throughout the night and the next morning. This is metabolic efficiency. This is how you become lean. The benefits extend far beyond the scale. You'll experience more stable energy, reduced bloating, improved mental clarity, better sleep, and a liberation from the constant obsession with food and meal prep that the 6-meal-a-day bodybuilding lifestyle demands. You are no longer a slave to your next protein hit. You are metabolically flexible, hormonally balanced, and finally in control. The Big Protein Lee, has kept you chained to a paradigm of overconsumption and misunderstanding. It has you focusing on the bricks, protein, while ignoring the architect, your hormones, and the blueprint, your metabolism. By shifting your focus to insulin management, whole food nutrition, and strategic meal timing, you are not just going on another diet. You are upgrading your body's entire operating system. You are building a physique from the inside out, one that is not only lean and strong but also healthy, resilient, and sustainable for a lifetime. The information is now in your hands. You have a choice. You can continue down the same crowded path, following the loudest voices selling you the most products, or you can take this new, evidence-based road less traveled. The results you've been searching for are on this new path. And now, here is your final, crucial call to action. This information is powerful, but knowledge without application is worthless. If you are ready to finally break free from the confusion and apply these principles to transform your body, I need you to do two things right now. First, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in the next video, I'm going to expose the next big fitness lie, the myth of the anabolic window, and I'll be providing a complete 7-day sample meal plan based on everything we discussed today. You do not want to miss it. Secondly, and most importantly, I want you to commit to one change this week. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Just start by extending your overnight fast by 2 hours. If you normally eat breakfast at 7 a.m., push it to 9 a.m. Feel what it's like to let your insulin drop. Experience the mental clarity and the freedom from constant eating. Take that first step. Your journey to a leaner, healthier, and more empowered you starts not with another scoop of protein, but with a single, decisive choice. Make that choice today. The power is yours.